just a few weeks ago, we made our entrance into this place. A place located in a world where Eorzea does not exist, and for that matter, neither does Doma nor the Guardian Empire. We came here to bring the balance back to this place, as it were, because this place was suffering from a case of the sun never setting nor never rising. A place where only daytime existed, and it was that way for a very long time. But thanks to our efforts, whether we willed it or not, we ended up changing things back here to the way they were. Back to a time when heroes were actually lauded rather than feared, and people were in a situation where things were a lot different. But thanks to our efforts, things are now back to how they were, and so with it, we now have beautiful music like this to listen to, and beautiful starlit nights to enjoy. So, with that in mind, greetings people of the world! Matthew back with you here in Overall Autism for another edition of the Tales of Eorzea vlog here on a Final Fantasy XIV's Exodus server. So yeah, I know, it's been a very busy last few weeks ever since the early access was introduced at the end of June. And for the last 3 weeks, all we have been doing is playing this game as much as we possibly could in order to show off the game's new features, the main story, pretty much everything that this new expansion, Shadowbringers, had to offer. And I will say from my own accounts of what I have experienced of the game, thankfully it was not the whole you're going to turn into a villain thing that I was really worried was going to happen. Like, I was really worried when the experience came that it was going to either be one of two things. It's either going to be an entire dream sequence where you just dream the whole thing up, or you end up being a villain for who knows how long. So, thankfully my fears were alleviated, but not completely, because yeah, with the way things are right now, the way the story is trying to set things up is it's trying to make us an anti-hero now. Like, we're no longer true good guys at this point, where you're being made to have a dark side to us, which is why we've been brought to a place like this, and, well, the nighttime changed, and so now it's overcast. But hey, at least I got the stars, at least. But I'm glad that we have not been made full villains, because the way that the story was trying to present it, and the way that some of our FC members and viewers were trying to force us to view it, was that we can no longer view Hydaelyn as benevolent. And like, that was like, well, you could say that, and the way that the storyline was being introduced could try and convince us so, but we still don't know everything. We still don't know what everything is and was. The way that Emmett Selk did his side of the story is like only Zodiark existed and everything was a utopia, and then Hydaelyn was introduced and then everything fell apart. But obviously we don't know the whole story from Emmett Selk, and the way that the audience and some IFC members were saying it was like, no, you have to sympathize with Emmett Selk, you have to sympathize with Zodiark, Hydaelyn be damned. But obviously there's a reason why Hydaelyn exists in the first place. Like, the way that it's told in Amarat, and some of the viewers who were with me during the streams came to a conclusion that I did, that obviously something happened with Zodiark's rule that caused people to say, it can't be like this, obviously something is clearly wrong with how Zodiark is doing things, so we need to go away from that, we need to deviate from that and change things. And thus, Hydaelyn came around, but obviously that's just me speaking hypothetically, and I don't know how everything is unfolding. Because obviously Emmett Selk's perspective is just one side of the story. We I'm hoping that as we get more story content and as we get more expansions, we'll have a more complete story as to why the Warrior of Light exists, to serve Hydaelyn, to represent her, and to ensure that the Ascians can't have the world back that they once did. Because I'll say this much. The way that things unfolded, like, it makes me think of a lot of real world comparisons to religion and mythology, and how things were in those particular contexts. So obviously the people at Square Enix took a lot of inspiration from such texts that they implemented it in such a way that they're trying to do it in the storyline here. So like I'm trying to keep, like, the people who were like sympathize with the Ascians and Zodiark only, they criticized me for not having an open mind, but the way I see it is that it may seem like I'm not having an open mind, but the fact of the matter is that we don't know the whole story. We don't know everything yet. We can't assume everything is exactly as Emmett Selk claims it is. There has to be more to the story. There has to be more reason to why Zodiark existed, why Hydaelyn existed, and why the worlds exist as they do now. So, like, let's not jump to conclusions. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's try to make sure that we can wait for more of the storyline to be flushed out so that we can understand more of what's going on. Because, yeah, I know that for those of us who play the main scenario roulette now, the way it's set up, is that it's hinted that Hydaelyn is the root of all evil by the Ascians when you do the Praetorian, because you are pretty much forced to relive that piece of the story whenever you have to confront La Habrea as the final boss there. So, I would say that we need to not jump to conclusions and say that Zodiark is actually the good guy and so are the Ascians. Like, let's not jump to that conclusion just yet. Let's let the story unfold. Let's let more expansions come out. Let's see how it happened. Let's see if Zodiark actually is the true good guy and if Hydaelyn is actually truly the villain. Because we don't want to say that it must be this way or else. So that's I'm hoping that as we see more of the content, we'll understand how things are, and let's not have or use Emmett Selk as the definitive testimony to the genesis of the source and the 14 worlds and everything else. Like, let's give it time. Let's take the time to let more of the story come out so that we're not consumed by having a role reversal placed on us. So that's really what I wanted to talk about in terms of the story for Shadowbringers. As far as Gunbreaker and Dancer are concerned, and also adjustments to the battle system are concerned, I'm really satisfied with how things are now in terms of the pace of play, in terms of how some things have been adjusted, like especially for tanks and melee DPS, where we were restrained by the TP system, but now that it's been done away with, we can just go all out. And as far as speedrunning is concerned, I've already seen people who were dominating doing dungeons solo are now starting to encroach on the records that I set back in Stormblood, and are producing some really solid times that are already setting the bar very high. And so, yeah, now that I actually have some worthy challengers who are wanting to step up, it means that I'm going to have to do the same in order to try and either get the records back or try and set the records even better than what they were in Stormblood. I'm really looking forward to utilizing this sort of thing for speedrunning more as we continue on, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. And of course, I'll have you guys along with me for the ride, and it'll definitely be an enjoyable one. I'm looking forward to it. So, of course, in terms of people who are in the FC, we had some people who were with us who left us. There were people who were deleting their alts, people who were transferring their characters, but we also picked up a couple of new people as well. And they're here to stay for the time being, so that's really nice to know. So now it's a matter of me getting on the road again to try and welcome new people in the FC so that it's not completely quiet. And definitely the people who have left us, we will miss them. We will not forget their contributions. We will not overlook what they did to help us. And we know that they had a fun time here. They enjoyed themselves here while they were around, and we will always be grateful to the fact that they were. And so their contributions, of course, will continue to go a long way towards our continued success, and we'll do whatever we can to bring in new members to our free company family and have a wonderful time in this game, because we definitely have a lot more to look forward to with the new expansion, with the new classes, and the way that everything's been adjusted in terms of battle mechanics. It's going to be a fun time here in Shadowbringers, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with all of you guys, as well as any new free company members who come to join our ranks. So, that's going to do it for this edition of the Tales of Eorzea vlog. As always, if you have a character here on Exodus or are looking to create one on Exodus, and you're interested in joining our free company, we'd be more than happy to have you with us. So, thank you very much everyone for watching, and until next time everyone, this is Matthew at Navarro Autism, saying take care, and I'll see you soon.